Ned Lamont says he can get Connecticut back to work. We're going to hear about his jobs plan. Also slated to be shut down, a Meriden auto dealership has been saved. We're going to tell you how. And UConn is under pressure to explain some of its recruiting practices to the NCAA. Jason Page from ESPN Radio is here to tell us what kind of trouble the team is facing. Hi, you're watching The Real Story. I'm Lori Perez. In 2006, Ned Lamont shocked the political world by pulling off an unlikely upset victory over incumbent Joe Lieberman in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. This year, he's looking for primary success over another party-endorsed candidate, this time in a bid for governor. He is here now to talk to us about his bid. Thank you so much, Ned, for being here today.
Lori, great to be with you.
I know neither of us really like to talk about polls, but there is a latest Rasmussen poll, which actually has Dan Malloy, your challenger, beating Tom Foley, and you not. What do you make of that?
Look, if I gave a hoot about polls, do you think I would have taken on Senator Lieberman and the entire Democratic and Republican establishment 4 years ago?
Touche, that's a good point.
You think I would have taken on Governor Rell 6 months ago? You know, I'm in this race to show the politicians there's a better way to do things here in Hartford, that we can turn things around and get this state moving again.
Right, and it is pretty early on, I would think. But there is one number that kind of stands out. There's an unfavorable rating for you of 21%. Do you think that is troubling? Do you think it's just people don't know enough about you, or what? How do you explain
I took a pretty strong position 4 years ago,
yes.
And people know where I stand on issues. And I'm going to go up to Hartford, and I'm going to take strong positions again. Mm-hmm. You know, you're going to have a CEO as the governor of this state. Somebody who says the buck stops here. We're going to start with an honest budget. I'm not going to make everybody happy. That's not my goal. My goal is to get an honest budget and to get this state moving again.
Before we get into the budget, let's talk about that strong stand that you took 4 years ago. You know, we're still in Iraq. I mean, how do you feel about it now? What do you think is going on? What do you think, how we're doing there?
Well, it's $1 trillion later, and it's thousands of dead and wounded who have, died for an important cause. But I think it was not the place where America should have been. Mm-hmm. I think I salute President Obama. I think he's redirecting our forces. We're giving Nouri al-Maliki a chance to get a government going there. And I think it's better for us to step back, and that's just what we're doing now.
Okay, interesting. So let's get back to some Connecticut issues, and you talk about the budget. I read your business plan, and I should say that you guys all come on, and you talk about jobs being the top priority. Yours, I thought there was a good focus on teamwork. Tell me what you think the most innovative plan, part of your plan is versus what the other guys are coming up with.
Look, I think the way the state has gone for the last 20 years is throwing hundreds of millions of dollars of tax incentives at big businesses, trying to get big banks, trying to get hotel companies to move across the border into Stanford and other places. And we've done that at the expense of our own small, mid-sized businesses right here in the state of Connecticut. So I'd have a very different focus than what you see going on right now. Focus on our small and mid-sized businesses. That's how jobs are created. I come out of the business world. I started up a small business, hired people, and that's what we do. We got about 100,000 small businesses in this state, Lori. If I could give them the confidence to hire just one or two more people,
but how do you
dramatically
do that?
Reduce the deficit. We start bringing our cities back. You do it a number of ways. One, reduce taxes. Mm-hmm. Get rid of that, basic minimum corporate tax, that 250 tax that's such a nuisance. Yeah. Make some funding available. Let's triple the funding for Connecticut innovations. Let's give the incentives to the banks to start lending to our small businesses again. That's how I have the incentives and the confidence to start hiring again.
You did not mention in the business plan anything about state labor costs. We have more public employees now than ever. What specific steps are you going to take to cut state labor costs, starting with pensions? What are you going to do?
Well, first of all, when you're talking about small business and why Connecticut's expensive, look, we've always succeeded not because we're the cheapest, because we're the best. Mm-hmm. We do have high costs. We have high property taxes. We have extraordinarily high energy costs. We have high transportation and housing costs. So there's a lot a governor can do to bring down the high cost of doing business in the state of Connecticut.
But how are you going to work? Okay, so how are you going to work with the Public Employees Union? What are you going to do with that? What are you going to tell them that they need to do, that they need to step up to the table and
Yeah, absolutely. Look, when you got a $3.5 billion deficit that this governor is going to be leaving the next governor, everybody is going to be at the table. And everybody's going to know that there's a sense of shared sacrifice. But more importantly, if we're really going to solve this structural deficit, it's about getting the state growing again. It's about getting small business to have the confidence to start hiring again. It's about expanding the economic pie. That's what a business person does. These politicians are pretty good at dividing up the economic pie. How can we get Connecticut growing again? That's how we solve the economic.
Right. You mentioned small businesses a lot. You also, though, mentioned that that people are the strongest thing that we have. So why do you not support the paid sick days initiative?
Well, when it comes to people, first of all, it's our best trained workforce in the world, the most productive workers in the world. That gives us a real competitive advantage.
Right.
That's why high-end jobs want to be here in the state of Connecticut. They're not going to go to Georgia. They're not going to go to Bangalore. They ought to stay in Connecticut. We have the most productive workers in the world.
But we also have a lot of not high-end jobs. I mean, people working part-time jobs. People are putting in, a lot of hours, but perhaps not a full-time hour. So why should those people not be protected by something? Senator Dodd said that the paid sick days is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I support Senator Dodd. I mean, I think Senator Dodd and Rosa DeLauro, they're going to put in place a paid sick leave bill on a national basis that makes this a right for everybody. But you're right. I'm not positive that Connecticut wants to take the lead. You just mentioned the high cost of doing business in the state of Connecticut. New mandates just in Connecticut will make us less competitive, not more. But, yeah, I support what Chris Dodd is doing. Let's do it down in Washington where it applies to everybody.
Right. And I know another big initiative, part of your whole plan to get jobs back is to keep young people here. That's kind of one of your focuses. Tell me what your plan is to keep people here, people like myself who might not have left. Right out of college.
Mary Glassman and I, we both have kids. They're sort of college age. And as you point out, more than any other state in the country, our young graduates leave. They leave for greener pastures. So they leave for a couple reasons. One, jobs, just good paying jobs. So make this the state of opportunity again, where our kids can afford to call Connecticut home. Let's start bringing back our cities. Young people like vibrant cities with a lot of life. That starts with jobs. That starts with transportation. That starts bringing our cities back so young people say, I went to college in Connecticut. I want to stay in Connecticut.
So specifically in terms of making our cities vibrant again, what sorts of ideas do you have?
Well, one, a great education system, so young families want to educate their kids in New Haven and Hartford and Bridgeport. Two, rebuild our transportation system, a high-speed rail system that interconnects Hartford, New Haven, and Bridgeport, so folks can get back and forth and these become hubs again. As you probably have heard, these were three of the richest, most prosperous cities in the world a few generations ago, and that's when Connecticut was at its best. We're going to do everything we can to bring our cities back to life.
How quickly do you think we could get like a light rail system up?
It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while. But what the business community wants is just a sense of direction. They don't expect me to solve everything from day one, but they want to say, what's Connecticut going to look like in 5 years? What's it going to look like in 10 years? Why do I want to stay here? Why do I want to grow here? Give me a sense of direction where we're going to be. Light rail is part of that direction.
Why do you think that atmosphere has not been created up till now?
I just think we've lacked leadership. I think these politicians have been sort of putting out one little fire after another with no sense of direction about where this state ought to go. Look, we really needed a governor in this last year. We needed a governor to set a sense of direction, to work with our legislature to come up with an honest budget. Instead, we kick the can down the road. You know what that does to small business? I think I'll hold off and wait and see if they get their act together. They're not going to have to wait much longer.
All right. Well, last question. We would like to hear a lot more about you and from you. I know that Dan Malloy wants a series of debates. Are you going to agree to that, or what's going to happen there?
Hey, we have debated. We've had forums. We've done it, 20-plus times. We've got a good old-fashioned debate scheduled in the next, 2 or 3 weeks. Believe me, I think they're going to hear enough from all of us over the course of the next couple months, and you may have something to say about that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Ned, for stopping by. We appreciate it. We always like to talk to you. Up next, a Meriden auto dealership survives the auto industry crisis. Its owners are here to tell us how they did that.